So my name is Kenneth. I own my own technology consulting business, have for the last 11 years. I'm also working at a local university. I'm a member of the Newark Computer Group here in Ohio and also the Columbus Computer Group because I'm right in the middle. And both of them said, "Hey, join us." And I foolishly said, "Sure, I've got the time." It is enjoyable to be a part of both groups. But I'm here today to work with you guys on Bitwarden. Just because you're muted doesn't mean you are not allowed to unmute unless JJ wants to tell me otherwise.
No, they can unmute.
I do welcome questions. I will warn you, I probably will answer the question at some point, but I might go a little fast. Slow me down. I want to be respectful of your time. I was told 50 minutes, 50, not 15. If we were at 15, we'd be in trouble.
If you get a little long-winded, don't mind.
Okay, good. So I've cut my presentation, the slideshow, a little shorter. And if it doesn't make any sense, let me know and we'll back up and talk about it. But then I really want to get into demonstrating Bitwarden. I actually am going to set up a brand new account today, which is not something I've done before during a presentation. I've used an existing account. I think it's really important for everyone to see the beginning steps of it, how it all starts. If you have a second monitor connected to your computer, you could follow along with me on that monitor and keep watching. Again, I will be going a little faster than I would if I was just teaching a one-on-one, but we are recording this. So guess what? You can pause, you can rewind. Is that still the correct word if it's a digital video, rewind? And maybe even slow it down while it's playing back. So you'll be able to reference this video again, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and I'm going to share my whole desktop. I'm going to be switching back and forth between a few different things. So first things first, I've titled this presentation Solving Your Password Management Problems, but I don't know if we'll solve all of them today. We'll certainly do our best. We will get you started on the right path and then see how it goes from there. As far as what we're going to be doing, we're going to talk about why passwords are a problem, how you can avoid some common password mistakes, passwords you absolutely do not want to use. They were the worst passwords of 2019. I forgot to get the 2020 list. We're going to talk about guessability, what that means. Who are some of those larger targets and why is that important? I'm sure a lot of you have been reusing passwords because we're only human. There's only so much we can remember. And if we have to remember a individual or a unique password for every single thing we log into, well, if you can do that, more power to you. I am not capable of remembering that many unique passwords. So the password manager will help us with that part of it. And then I think I took out the security versus convenience thing, but we will demonstrate a lot of this setting up a new Bitwarden account. So that's the goal for today. Let's see how far we get. So why are passwords a problem in the first place? Well, it's annoying to have to enter a password. You know, to walk between your rooms in your house, you just open a door and you walk in. But to walk into different rooms on the internet, you have to actually have the right keys. And there's this big old key ring. Ideally, what they tell you is have it unique, right? So you'd have this big master key set, and then you're fumbling through the keys trying to figure out which one is correct. Or you can let your password manager remember it for you. The easy way of avoiding this password problem with the whole set of master keys is to reuse that password. I really don't want you to take that route, and I'll explain why later on. There is actually another easy way. While it may not be the easiest way for you, it certainly isn't difficult. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So what you need to remember when you're choosing a password is don't choose a password that's a guessable password. If you're using a phrase, even a phrase from your favorite book, that's something that can be found, that can be searched. And the people that are cracking into our accounts, they're not on the front end of the website entering the username and password and then hitting enter. Usually they've already gained access on the back end. So they're taking a whole big long list of usernames and passwords and just, it's almost like a machine gun. Is this right? And finally, one of them will probably work if you're using a guessable password or a dictionary word or a dictionary or a book phrase. Don't reuse because they're doing that. And if they guess the password correctly on one site, well, guess what? Now that they have access to your, well, T-Mobile was just hacked recently. And if you happen to have a T-Mobile account, they've been hacked 5 times, by the way. So, you know, shame on them. But if they happen to figure out that password, which they have, if they have that information, and you use that for your bank account, well, guess what? Now they're in your bank account. Well, what if you reuse that password for your email account? Well, now they're in your email account. Then you go down this whole rabbit hole where if I have access to your email, I could regain access to I could take away your cell phone number by pretending to be you, because guess what? I have your password. I have your security questions. I have all that information. So don't reuse passwords between sites, because once they guess it, they'll have the keys to the kingdom, and that's not what you want. So just because I'm telling you to be secure, I'm not telling you to inconvenience yourself. I wouldn't do it myself. I would not do something if it forced me to work way too hard to do something pretty simple. So Password Manager is, again, the answer to make it more convenient having all these unique passwords. So this is the list from 2019. You may, I hope not, but you may recognize some of these. This is only a small list. If you have one of these passwords, I'd recommend you change it right away. It takes milliseconds to break in with these passwords. So yeah, you can see there's phrases on here, there's names, you know, 6 zeros apparently is a password that a lot of people use. I don't think I would have thought of that one. Test 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've seen people use the top row of the keyboard and just go with their finger across the key deck, and that was their password. Well, that's an easy password to guess. So if you have any of these, you might want to change it. Well, not might, you definitely want to change it. Easily guessable passwords could be something like a word. So common words, computer, and then even adding a number to that common word, like the number 1, it's still common enough that it's easy to guess. Then you say, oh, well, then I'll just change up some of the letters and make them weird. So now we have computer spelled with a capital C. Ooh, we're really throwing them off now. And then a 0 instead of an O. And you know what? Those parentheses kind of look like a U, so I'm going to use that. You see where I'm going with this? This is still an easy password to guess. Substitutions are no big deal for a computer. They can do things way faster than we can. Here's what I was talking about earlier, the pattern on the keyboard. Whoop, right across the keyboard, that's your password. Nope, not a good one. Here's a quote from Emerson. Not a good password. Even if you put the quotations around it, it's still not a good password. And then you might say, oh, I'm going to use someone famous like JJ. And guess what? I know that his name, I think this is correct, JJ. Is it Dwight? Is that correct? You're muted.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I know that it happens to be Dwight. So I'm fooling everyone by putting Dwight, JJ. I might even get fancy and put quotes in between it. Not a good password. It's something that they can associate with someone. Just remember, you're not fighting people, you are fighting computers. And these computers, as I said earlier, are not on the website entering the password and then getting timed out. They're in the database already. They're just trying it, and they can try it as many times as they want, and they never get locked out. So do not use guessable passwords. Here's an example of how long it takes someone to crack a password. If it's 7 characters long, 0.29 milliseconds. So 7, not a very good password. Even if it's unique, they could crack it pretty quick. 8 characters, well, it went up a lot, but it's still not quite enough unless you plan on changing your password every 4.5 hours. 5 hours is not going to work for you. Add 1 more character, goes up to 5 days, then 4 months, then 1 decade. And you might think, well, that's good enough. Well, we're already at 11, right? And I keep this general rule of thumb. I use a minimum of 12 characters. It's kind of like that Bible story. Jesus had 12 disciples. It was good enough for him. It's good enough for my password. And it gives me 2 centuries. So I'm going to go with 12. So 12 is the minimum I would encourage you to use, the minimum. But keep in mind that some websites also have a maximum. So if you decide, well, I want to use a 100-character password, good for you. But the website may say, sorry, you're limited to 15 characters or 20 characters. So anything better than 12 is good. Make sure it's random, not A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's not good. And you should be good to go. There we go. So here's some big targets. Do you recognize any of these names? Maybe this one right here that's been hacked 5 times. All these are huge targets. And if they have access to one of these accounts and you've reused that password, well, they have the keys to the kingdom again. So these particular companies and many, many more are constantly being attacked. They are a target. They will eventually probably get cracked. Hopefully your passwords are not stored in plain text, but you know, that's on the company, not on us. We can't control it. So I already mentioned this, reusing passwords is bad because if they get one, they have the keys to everything. But these password lists are stolen, leaked, hacked, sold all the time. So one access to one account gives you access to all the accounts. Don't reuse them. This is the cost for some of the most popular password managers out there. I will be talking about Bitwarden specifically. I use Bitwarden. I love it. The cost for me for a single person is $10 per year. If I wanted to add my family in, it would be $12 for the whole year. And I believe this is 5 accounts. I was looking up the prices earlier today. Businesses, it's $3 per user. So you're not going to break the bank. You look at some of these other ones, 1Password's a great password manager, but it's $60 a year. So if you decide to go with this one, here's your cost. Keeper, another popular password manager, $60 a year. Bitwarden, however, offers a free account. You can do a lot of stuff with Bitwarden. You don't have to pay the $10 for the whole year. There's just some features like, they call it pwned, has my password been leaked? There's a button you click inside Bitwarden. It says yes or no. That is where, those are some of the features you're paying for when you pay for the $10 per year. And then LastPass is probably the most popular password manager. It's $36 per year. So pick your poison here. Just because I'm using Bitwarden today doesn't mean that's what you should use. It's really a personal choice. Do your research. Here's a link to Consumer Reports. I'll go ahead and, I'll copy that link out and put it in chat for you guys. I think it's still valid. And you can check that out. I'll also grab the website I was talking about for cracking passwords. So this is estimating, what did they call it? Password cracking. So before I jump into the presentation, are there any questions? I can't quite see everybody on here, so let me change.
If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself.
Move stuff around so I can see you guys better. Okay. So I don't see anybody unmuting or jumping up and down or nodding their head. So we're going to go ahead and move on. This is the part where you are free to follow along. If you have a second computer or a second display or even a tablet, you can do this with me. Again, remember, I'm using Bitwarden. So if you're doing something else, well, good luck to you, because I'm not going to be showing that today, but there's a lot of good ones out there. So the first thing you need to do is go to bitwarden.com, and I'll put that in chat. So bitwarden.com is where we're actually going to set up the account. We're going to set up the account, set up the vault. We're actually going to synchronize, couldn't get rid of the chat there, synchronize the passwords that we have between the website and also applications. So this is the best place to get started. So from bitwarden.com, you see a big old get started link right up here. Click that. And it says, I need an email address. Now you need to give it a valid email address. I mean, you can lie if you want to, but you're not going to be able to set up your account properly. So I'm going to give them an email account I set up just for this. Then it wants to know my name. Okay, fine. Oops, you got to type that right. This one you could lie about if you remember the lie. Then it wants me to pick a master password. Well, what the heck is a master password? This is the one password that you need to remember. So I'm going to write it down because I'm not going to remember it right away, to get into all of your passwords. It should be a good password. It definitely should be unique, but you don't want to use anything that's common. So here's where I start generating passwords. At this point, I don't have a password manager to generate the passwords for me. So I'm going to go to bitwarden.com/password-generator. That website allows me to generate random passwords at will. In this case, I want a passphrase. Now, I'm not saying use a passphrase for your Bitwarden logon. I'm doing that as a preference. I'm doing it as a preference so that I can try to memorize it. Ideally, a password with random characters would probably be better, but this is pretty good. This is 4 random words separated with a hyphen. I can pick more than 4 if I want. But remember, you got to type this every time you enter your password manager. So perhaps I don't want 4 because I also use my mobile phone. So I'm going to change this to 3, and it picks something else for me. So I can click regenerate, and get random phrases as long as I want until I find one that I like. I'm just going to go ahead and use this one. I'm going to copy this to my clipboard. And I, for now, am going to paste this into a document just so I can remember it for this session. I'm not going to keep this account, so I'm going to end up deleting it anyway. But this is going to be my password for my vault. I probably should use 4 words, but whatever. You don't have to use a passphrase. You can use a password. That's this option right here. I do prefer that because it allows you to put in, let me blow this up a little bit. It allows you to put in random characters, numbers, capital and lowercase letters. There's a wide variety of options. And this is what it came up with. 14 characters long. That's what it wants me to use. Pretty good. I can go longer if I want to. Wow, that's pretty long. 128 if you really want to get crazy. You got to remember though, you have to type this to get to the rest of them. So I'd suggest keeping it down above that 12 mark, maybe at 14. There's another random password. So pick your poison. What can you remember better, this or this? I'm going to make it easy on myself and remember this for now. You can always change it later. Okay, so here's my master password. Let's Let's go back. Lost. I can't see my tabs here. Okay. Let's go back to where it's asking me for my master password. I'm going to paste that right there. And Bitwarden tells me whether it likes it or not. Is it strong? Good. Go ahead and retype that, please. I want to make sure you didn't make a mistake, so I'm just going to paste it. I can look at it with the eyeball. This eyeball is actually useful inside the Bitwarden app. We'll come back to this later. But this just exposes what the password is. So I can show or hide the password to make sure they're the same. Bitwarden will warn you if they are different. But, you know, if you want to see it, there you go. You can also add a hint. There's really no hint for this. Randomly generated, right? So I can't, what's the point of putting a hint in there at all? You do need to agree to the terms and conditions, and there's the link. There's their privacy policy. I'm not going to read that for you today. That might take more than a couple hours. Actually, I don't know how long theirs is. But after you filled in everything, your email address, your name, your master password, retyping it, you hit submit, and it creates that account for you. You will also receive an email from Bitwarden to verify your account. They want to make sure that you're a real person. I'll show you that in a second, but check this out. Chrome is saying, hey, you want me to remember that password for you? And you could do that. Chrome does have a pseudo password manager to it. It's not exactly secure. It's okay. It's tied in with your Google account. I don't use it. So I'm going to go ahead and dismiss this for now. But since I'm using Bitwarden to autofill passwords, I would suggest you actually turn this off. So I'm going to click the X here, and I'm going to show you inside of Google. You would click the ... By the way, this is in Google Chrome. I should have said that in the beginning. I'm using Google Chrome, which is one of the more popular browsers. You click the ... You get a drop-down list. You go to settings. And then right here, I just search for password. When I do that, it has all the password options inside the web browser. And the one I want to turn off is this right here. Offer to save passwords. I don't need it. So now it's not going to prompt me, and I'm going to use Bitwarden. You don't have to turn this off, but it can be confusing. When you go to a password and you log in, Google Chrome will say, hey, you want me to remember this? And Bitwarden will say, hey, do you want me to remember this? Well, wait, who's who? What's going on? So I turn off the one that I know I'm not going to use, which is Google Chrome. Again, ... settings, and then you just type password. That's the easiest way to find it. Okay. So back to Bitwarden. It now wants me to log in. So it remembers my email address. I now just have to enter the password to make sure, yes, that's the correct one. It still has it copied. So I'm going to log in. Remember I said earlier, they will send you an email to verify your account. Here it is right here. So I should have the email. I'm going to go ahead and open up my email tab. Welcome to Bitwarden right there. You open up this email, and then you click this login to Bitwarden, and your account will be verified. Well, you have to enter your password apparently. Log in. I don't think it liked that, did it? Still not verified. That's kind of strange. Okay.
Refresh.
Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So let me go back to the email and make sure I didn't miss the right link. Install it. I did that. Yep. Oh, this may not be the email to verify. My apologies. So let's go ahead and force it. Send email. Go back to email. Yeah, I was wrong. You know what? I'm only human. Sometimes you make a mistake, right? So I guess you actually have to tell it to verify your account before you send you the verification. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up there. That makes more sense. Verify email address now. Yes, please. Log in using that password we created from earlier. And now, yay, it worked. Now I have a bunch of vaults open. So let's close that up. Close. So now it's asking you if you want to go premium. As I mentioned earlier, for a personal account, it's $10 a year. It's absolutely worth it. This developer is amazing. They've been independently audited. They don't store the actual raw data. It's encrypted. So if someone were to crack into Bitwarden, actually they have, if they were to crack in and get all the information for every user, all they get is garbly-gook. It's nothing. It's not useful information because it's encrypted. So good for them. Support them if you can, if you got the $10 to spare, and you'll have some of those extra features like checking to see if your accounts have actually been cracked. So at this point, what we need to do is add an item, and there's 1, 2, and there's a bunch of other ways to do it. But I'm just going to go ahead and click one of these. My vault is empty. There's nothing in there. What I want to do is actually add a login item, or as you can see here, we have 4 options. Login for websites or, well, anything you log into, really. Cards, so security cards, credit cards, things like that. You're probably going, ooh, I'm not doing that. Again, it's your choice, but that information is encrypted and it's not readable unless someone has your master password. The only way to decrypt that information is for someone to enter your master password. So I feel comfortable doing it for not everything, for some things, but this is just a form you fill out for each item you select. The first one we're going to do, however, saves us a little time. It's called identity. So if you ever go to a website and it says, hey, give me your information, like we just did. What's your first name? What's your last name? What's all this, right? So we'll call this default information. So what's my title? Okay, I'll be a miss today. Let's throw them off, right? I don't want you to have my middle name. I'm just going to do that. What's a username? Now this might be, let's say you were registering for an Apple ID or a Gmail address or something like that. Well, that may not be the best example. A login is usually an email address. Sometimes it's a username. So I'm just going to go ahead and say none of your business. It has to be real though. Okay. This actually is a real email address. None of your business at domainname.com. Remember, you really want something that's real. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And well, just so I can stress that point, let me go ahead and just put in here a real email address. What's your company name? What's your social security number? Nope. What's your passport? Nope. Nope. What's your email? So I could do that here. And actually, since it does have an email field, I'm going to go ahead and do maybe something like that as a username. What's your phone number? Sure, I'll give you my phone number. Wait, what's the 867-5309? Is that what it is? Okay, right. There we go. So what's your address? It's 5309 Main Street, right? Because that's where everybody lives. And we have room for the second line, third line, the city. I'll go ahead and put myself in Columbus. That's close. And then sure, we'll be, you know what? Let's really throw them off. We'll do it in Kentucky. This is my old zip code in Kentucky. So fill in this information with correct information, but I don't want to do that since we're recording and this is likely to be published somewhere. I don't want everybody knowing what all my private information is. So we're faking it today, but don't fake it for yourself. What country do you live in? We live in the United Kingdom today. And then I guess notes, there's probably fields for that. Bottom line is what I want is a profile to fill out. And I'm going to show you how this works in just a second. So we'll verify the information. I'm Miss Kenneth Tabaugh. Here's my business. Here's my username. Here's my contact information. It all looks good. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And there's our first item in our vault. So I want to use that information, but I need to install Bitwarden inside my browser. So right now, we're using Bitwarden logged in from a website. If you go to bitwarden.com, you have an option to access your passwords from anywhere. Now, if you're on a public computer, I would suggest doing this: file, new incognito window. That way it's not going to save any information by accident. If you get click happy and click, sure, just leave me alone, right? We all do it, or we all did it up until today. So new incognito window, go to bitwarden.com. And anybody want to guess how we log in to Bitwarden from a website? You're all muted, so it can't really guess. Yes, that's right. Login, top right corner. So you click login. You enter your information. I don't remember if my passwords still say. Yes, it is not. So thank goodness I wrote it down, right? It's very important to write it down, at least while you're learning it. And even after you learn it, maybe if you have a fireproof safe somewhere, or a family member has a password manager, they can save it. I have my parents' password manager login information saved in my password manager in case they forget it, which they do. So we log in, and now we're accessing Bitwarden from the web. But what we need to do is we need to download it. So if you go to bitwarden.com, you'll see at the top of the page, download. When you click that, you'll get the URL bitwarden.com/download. Put that in chat. Here, we have a bunch of options. We can install it on our computer. Yes, it runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux, which is amazing. One of the reasons why I love it. Or we can put it in a browser, which is what we're going to do today. Or we can download it on a mobile device like an Android phone, an iOS device, iPad, iPhone. And if you really want to have fun with it, I've never done this, so if anybody has, let me know. You could do it from the command line. I bet you Tom has, actually. Command line just means you're going to look at a text screen, which, okay, sure, if that's what you want. Well, we're using Chrome today, so I'm going to go ahead and click this link right here: web browser, Google Chrome. So it takes you to the Google Chrome web store. And all you have to do is make sure, first of all, that's the thing you want, is click add to Chrome right here. Okay. Well, that was too big, but whatever. Can't get too big, right, on the text. So we click add to Chrome. And then it says, are you sure you want to add this extension? Yes, I do. Add extension. And then you go, okay, cool. Now what? I'm on the Bitwarden page. This is actually a great site to look at the quick start guide. So this video right here, if I start playing it, probably can't hear it because I didn't share my sound, but you may want to actually watch that. But then you're kind of stuck, like, well, I think I installed it, but where'd it go? Extensions are typically here, and I would expect to see this icon. But as you can probably see, there's nothing. Well, what do I do, right? This actually caught me off guard when they made this change. Google Chrome made a change that by default turns off extensions. So if you look at this little puzzle piece here, you hover over it, it'll say extensions. I know it's really small. I'm sorry. I don't know how to make that part bigger. If you hover over it, it'll say extensions. And if you click it, it'll show you all the extensions that you have installed. However, they're hidden. So what I want to do is pin it to Google Chrome. So Bitwarden is the right one. I just go to this pin right here, click it, and magically it shows up right next to the extensions. Now here's another extension, App Launcher for Google Drive. Sure, let's go ahead and show that as well. Notice it appears. This is where you control how your extensions show up in Google Chrome. It's also the reason why I picked Google Chrome, because it's the most finicky with this, which is probably a security reason for it. But I'm going to go ahead and turn this one off for now and just worry about Bitwarden. So again, puzzle piece, top right corner, click it, find the extension you want, and click the pen, and then it'll be in your web browser. Okay. So there she is. Oops, didn't mean to click that. There she is. I just need to log into it. So while we're logged into the web, it doesn't know that I'm actually logged in on the extension. And you can tell that it's not logged in. I know, again, it's small because it's gray. It's not blue. So if I click this, it'll say, what do you want to do? You can also create your account here like we did on the web. I think it's easier on the web, but whatever. I want to log in. I've already created my account. So I click login. I have to type my email address. And then I have to type my password, which I think is still, yeah, that's not it. Thank goodness I wrote it down. Am I making my point on that one? Write it down, at least temporarily. So there's my password. And then on the top right corner, I just click login. It should turn blue. Blue is good. We're unlocked. And you'll notice that I only have one item called identity. I have no notes. I have no cards. I have no login information. That's fine. We're going to get there. There's many, many ways to add information into Bitwarden, but I like easy. So I'm going to go ahead and create a Starbucks account. You do this this is an account that I've never had before. It's brand new. They're asking you for my information, my login. So I'm going to do this fresh. So I click sign in or join, I guess join technically. And it says, okay, I need your personal information. Well, I could do this if I wanted to, or I can utilize Bitwarden. If I click the Bitwarden link up here, remember all that information we filled out? It's right here. I just click it and it magically fills it out. Did you see it? It happened quick. And if there was more information like an address or a telephone number, it would have filled that in as well. So you click Bitwarden, you find the one you want to use. You can have multiple. You can have one for work, one for home, one for a family member. All I do now, watch the left because I'm going to click and it's just going to fill it in. Click, done. Real easy. Now, the only thing missing is the password. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, here we go. This is nice. They actually tell us what the limitation is, 8 to 25. It has to have a letter, a number, uppercase, lowercase, special character. I'm not going to figure this out. I don't want to figure this out. I just want Bitwarden to do the work for me. So I go back to the extension in the top right corner. I click and I click add a login, this right here. When I do that, it's smart enough to know where you are. I'm at starbucks.com/account/create. I can modify that if I want to. I can make it just starbucks.com, but I didn't have to think about this. It was smart enough to know, oh, you want to create an account and you're here. Oh, you probably want an account for this website, right? Yes, yes, I do. This is where I could change the username. Maybe I want it to be Starbucks at an email address. Now, it has to be a real email address, remember. But whatever you pick here is what the website's going to use. So right here is the password field. It's blank, okay? If I click the eyeball, nothing happens. There's nothing there. If I click this, it says, there's nothing here. I don't know what you want. This is saying, has my password been used in a breach? So this third button is our only option at this point. We click this, which is the generate password button. I click it and it takes me to this right here. What type of password do you want? You don't even have to look at this most of the time. All you have to do is go, okay, sure, I'm going to select it. Now I'm going to come back to this, so don't fret. I'm going to go ahead and use what it gave me and see what happens. So I'm going to select it. And now these buttons are relevant. So I can click the eyeball. It shows me the password. I can click this link and it'll say, nope, that password's not in a data link, so a data breach. So it's good to use. I don't even need to fill out anything else.
Oh, you need a
could
special
change.
character?
We'll get to that.
Okay, I'm getting ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. You caught it. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as is. Save. So now Bitwarden says, oh, you're on starbucks.com. Would you like to use your starbucks.com login? Yes, I would. As we did earlier, when we click this, we now just click this and notice it changed the username, right? Even though I filled it in with this information. See, it's Kenneth. Now I click Starbucks and it says, you mean Starbucks. That's really what the password is. So that's the password. What does Starbucks think? Oh, it doesn't like it. Why? Because it wants a special character. And you might say, oh no, what do I do now? Here you go, Tom. So this is where we can go back and fix it. All we need to do is go to Bitwarden, find the password that we want to change. And one of these buttons is going to allow us, oh, well, I thought, yes, this button, one of these buttons allow us to view it. And then guess what? I can change it. So right now, it only allows me to, this is the copy button, allows me to view it, allows me to verify it, allows me to copy it. But if I go up here, I can edit this. Why am I editing it? Because I have to make a unique character in the password. So I'm going to click edit. Be very careful when you're in here, because now the button that was copy is now generate password. You're going to write over your old password. It doesn't matter. We haven't actually created the account yet. And it actually doesn't matter if you did, because I'll show you how you can find the old password. But what do I need to do to generate a new password? Which button do I click? That one right there. And it says, are you sure? You're going to overwrite your password. Yes, I'm sure. It didn't work anyway. So we're good. So Tom alluded to this earlier, or outright said it. You need a special character, right? It's right here. The options we ignored earlier, we actually have to pay attention to for this website. And thank goodness they're doing a good job of actually saying we want to use a unique unique character sets. So I'm going to check this, and it regenerates a password with random characters in it. I can make it longer. They did say I could go to 25, right? So let's go to 25. What do I care? I don't have to remember it. I could even do a passphrase if I wanted to. I don't need to remember this as a passphrase, so I'd recommend not doing that. Just go ahead and use this. And as we did earlier, once we're happy with the options we've selected here, actually, I'm going to talk about one more option here. Once we're happy with the options we've selected, we just press or click the select button. At the bottom of this is actually kind of important. I didn't really understand why ambiguity was a problem in passwords until I thought about it for a moment. What letters look like numbers? Oh, let's see. There's O. That looks like a 0. There's L, lowercase l, that looks like a 1. So you can actually tell Bitwarden, please avoid any characters that provide any ambiguity whatsoever, which I have that checked. Actually, I think that's a default. You can also tell it how many numbers you want it to use. By default, it uses a minimum of 1 number and 1 special character. That doesn't mean it's only 1, as you can see with this password here. It's used multiple numbers in this, which is great. So all these options are really not important unless the password or unless the website says, hey, there's something extra I need you to do, or hey, your password's too short or it's too long, that's where you can make these adjustments. Like if 25 was too much, I could just do this. But I know 25 is okay because it says 8 to 25 right there. Any questions about this? This is like the meat and potatoes of Bitwarden. So this is where you could get lost, and I don't want to move on unless it makes sense. Are we okay? I'm seeing nods. That's good. Okay. So again, I'm happy with this password. I'm going to select it. I'm going to save it because I went into edit mode. And now I'm going to go ahead and close it because what I want to do is fill it. That password is not good. So all I do is click Starbucks and look, it's happy. It's a happy camper now. Do you want to receive email from Star? I'm going to delete the account anyway, so I don't care. You do have to agree to their terms. Bitwarden can't check these boxes for you yet, maybe in the future. But here's our account. I click create. And it logs in. So I want to test it. I want to make sure that what I did worked. So let's pretend that we've ended the day, we've logged out. I'm going to do that now under account, sign out, because I want to make sure I can get back into it, right? So starbucks.com, sign in, top right corner. Uh-oh. No worries. I just click Bitwarden. I click the Starbucks. It's smart enough to know this is for Starbucks. You won't see all your other accounts up there because of that Starbucks domain name, starbucks.com. I click it. I sign in and everything's fine. That's it. Make sense? So now,
Question.
yes, Tom.
So you do not have to inform it that it's a change between a sign up and sign in. It does it automatically.
That's actually a valid question because sometimes some websites are not smart enough for that. So if we go back into this login and view it, what I probably would have, well, it's not showing it all. Pardon me, allergies. What I probably would have done here is delete this part of it. Bitwarden's pretty good at figuring out, oh, they probably mean starbucks.com, not /account/create. So I could delete this and make it just starbucks.com and it'll work the same. So let me,
Thank you.
did I? Yeah, you're welcome. Let me log out. Let me log back in. So right now we're at starbucks.com and a bunch of other gibberish. Who cares? Bitwarden says, oh, I know what you mean. We're good. So you click it and you sign in. Again, I don't know what the password is, nor do I care. It doesn't matter. It could be 128 characters long because I'm not going to enter that password. Well, I guess maybe if you didn't have your password manager, you'd have to type it out. But you can get your password from just logging in. I could go to, let me log out again. I could go to bitwarden.com. I log in and here's my Starbucks. And right here, this gear icon allows me to copy the username. Where's Starbucks? I gotta move this down a little bit. Come on. Copy my username. Just standard paste command on your computer, Control V as in Victor or Command V on a Mac. Go back to my vault, use the gear. I can copy the password. So even if I don't have the password manager installed on the computer, I can still get to it. I just have to remember my email address and my master password. And if you can't remember your email address, I don't know how to help you with that one. That's on you, okay? Write it down if you have to, but I have no solution for that. So see, it works just fine. Copying and pasting works. This is how I encourage everyone to get started, because there's so many other ways you can use Bitwarden. There's the application that you can install. You'll see here, I have Bitwarden installed. I have favorites. Oh, I guess I got to take the search out. I have favorites listed here. I have all my items. I have, I don't have any. Oh, I guess I do have. So this application here is just another way to use Bitwarden. And it's actually the way I have been using Bitwarden for years, until I realized how powerful this plugin was. And now that I know better, or now that I know that it's easier, I'm picking the easier route. This is the way I'm going to go. So that, in a nutshell, is the best way to get started with Bitwarden. What questions do you have?
Anybody have questions? Unmute yourself.
Yes, Tom. Earlier I saw that you could have installed it as an application into the computer alone, but you decided to put it into one of the browsers. What's the pro and con from the browser versus application alone?
Well, I have used the application alone for a long time. I think the pro for the browser is it's point and click. Literally, you point at Bitwarden and then you click your login and you're done. I really don't know. I guess using the application, if I were to call my cell phone provider and they say, what's your porting pin? Well, I can't copy and paste that to them over the phone. So then I'd have the app and I'd open the app and I'd reveal that information, and it's probably going to be bigger than it would be in the browser. But I like the browser integration because of the auto login, the filling it in automatically. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Break time, drink time.
I was supposed to ask you another question, but I believe you answered it already in your presentation.
We'll go ahead and ask it again.
I wish I remembered now. I don't remember.
Okay.
You're the youngest in the group. You're supposed to know things.
I have a comment. Like many things, you can use Bitwarden or any password manager program for that matter as your be all to end all for all your information. In other meetings, people have said, you know, hey, I just got a new refrigerator. I used to have a folder called, you know, stuff, where I recorded my smart TV, the serial number, when I bought it, blah, blah, blah. I'm putting it in my password manager now. And the same thing where it talked about cards and accounts and notes and things. If you have a lot of your information in there that whoever is your digital executor needs, they have your master password and they can go in and quickly see, okay, here's all the information, you know, blah, 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 blah. So it can turn into a one-stop shop for you. So you don't have to have different folders. Like I have one for recurring payment accounts. Well, it should be in the password manager program for, again, for one-stop shopping. Everything's all there. And as we get older, we like stuff like that, where we don't have to remember 16 folders for, you know, 16 different categories of things. And one thing I don't think Kenneth said was, when you change your password, make sure you put your old password in your notes section, just in case you come across someplace that says, and what was your previous password? And you go, duh, sorry. And then you can't go any further.
And that was my question I had. If I have a bunch of passwords in a book, how do you switch over from, say, 8 characters to 24 characters?
Yep, that's what I did forget to show that. So I'm going to reshare my screen and actually address 2 things. One, I've changed my behavior, Judy. I found out a little secret about password history. So you ready to see this?
Okay.
There's some
I'm here
chat.
to remind you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. There's some chat, it looks like, if JJ or someone could take a look at it and see. Thank you. So here I am. I need to get to my email account. And I know the password, so I type it in. Yeah,
Oh,
I
geez.
copied it. That is my password. It's all dots and it's that many characters. I won't tell you how many. So I copied that from my password manager for the app. So there's another good reason to have it. And I'm going to go ahead and click next. And then Bitwarden should, I didn't test this, but Bitwarden should have popped up and said, hey, do you want me to,
Oh.
why didn't it do that? Now I'm concerned. Well, darn it. That messes up that demo. So clearly I have to turn on something in settings, but normally Bitwarden would pop up and say, would you like me to remember this password for you? And you say, yes, please do that. Anyone know why it didn't pop up? I've never had it not ask. I know I turned off don't prompt me for passwords. This is really digging into the weeds now. Okay, going to teach you a little trick here. So go to your favorite search engine. You can go to DuckDuckGo, you can go to Google, you can go to Yahoo, it doesn't matter. This should work. If you type this, let me blow this up a little bit, the word site, you're saying, I only want you to search on this site. And then you follow it with the site name. So site:bitwarden.com or apple.com or microsoft.com or google.com, whatever. Although if you're on google.com, why would you do that? Then you type what you want to find. So auto save password prompt. And when I do a search this way, it's only going to show the results from bitwarden.com, which is a lot, way more useful than getting a random YouTube link or some 12-year-old that thinks they know everything. Yes, they're out there, right? I want to know from the source. Sorry, no offense to anyone who might know, but I just want to know how to do this. So not sure which link to click, but I actually have Bitwarden installed on my computer, so there might be something that didn't prompt me to save it. But this is the best way to find the answer. I'm not going to waste any time digging for it. Let me try to use a different site. Let's see what I have here. Let's go back to all items. Okay, so I haven't been here in a long time. One sale a day. Let's see if it does it for this. I don't even know if this is the right site. Let's sign in. Sign up. That should get us to a sign-in page. Nope. Okay. Next one. Adobe. Haven't used that in a while. Let's try Adobe. Sign in. So it wants the email address. That is not what I expected. Trying to use a non-Google account. Oh, this is actually a neat company. All's well that ends well. I'm sure you've heard that. It's a bedding company. We bought our bed from here and it was actually really good. Apparently I have a login because I bought a bed from them. So let's see, email address, login. There we go. Yay! Ignore the password is wrong. That doesn't matter right now. What I wanted to show you was this. Should Bitwarden remember this password for you? Yes, please. That's the prompt you should get when you log in for the first time to a site. Apparently, it doesn't do that with Google for some reason. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but I'm going to go ahead and save it. Well, that's fun. You see that? So pretend like I clicked yes, save it. For some reason, it's drawing over the button and it won't click.
You're somewhere. You're still onto Adobe site for some reason.
Oh, am I? Okay. Let me stop sharing and reshare. So when I tried to log in earlier, you guys couldn't see it. So let me do it one more time. Can you see the Allswell website now?
Yes.
I see a nod. Good. Okay. Hopefully it'll do it again. Yeah. Well, sorry, it was there. You'll have to believe me. Right here was a prompt that said, would you like to remember it? And then when I tried to click it, because probably Zoom, it just started drawing over it randomly. So I couldn't click it. But when you're not on Zoom and doing this, it should work just fine. So when I click that button, again, playing make-believe here, folks, don't judge me. It's the tech gods that going against me right now. If I go, oh, it did work. Okay, never mind. So apparently clicking the button worked. And now it says, hey, I've got your password here. You want me to log in? Yes, please. I didn't type that into Bitwarden. I just said, yes, please remember it. And it's now in there. So that's answering question number one. Question, the other point that was brought up, which I think I have to do this from the web vault. We changed the Starbucks password. So what I want to do is, okay. So when you're in the web vault, you actually have to click on the name. I thought it was going to take me to starbucks.com, but that's what it happens to be named. You click the blue hyperlink to open it up. And then at the bottom, you'll see password history. Everyone see that? I didn't know this existed until a couple days ago. So when you click that, it says, here's the last password you used. I used to write that in these notes here. And people thought, well, that's a little much, isn't it? Well, no, if it says, what was the previous password you used since you forgot it? Well, you can let your password manager remember it for you. I don't know if this is a feature in every password manager, but it certainly is a feature in Bitwarden. So you just go to your password history right here. Isn't that neat, Judy?
Yes, it is. Thank you so much. I have my shorthand tablet here taking notes. I have different color highlighters for different things. And I mean, that is way cool. And I have a question about that onesale.com that you showed for a moment. Mm-hmm. Have you ever actually purchased anything from them, and are they reputable?
A long time ago. I think Amazon bought them, which is probably why it's freaking out. It wants me to enter my Amazon ID.
Because they had stuff from Walmart and Wayfair and places like that, but I couldn't find where they're located. And I always love to know where their physical address is, and they don't have one.
Yeah. And I can't say that it's still a good site. I can't even get to it now.
Okay, thanks.
Perhaps it wants the H. See, now it's doing that weird drawing thing on me again. Maybe you guys don't see it, but I do. Can you see the site?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
This looks totally different than when and again, it's been years. When I bought something from it, it didn't look like this at all. So don't know. Shop at your own risk. Just create a randomly generated long password and make sure it's not a repeat on this site in case it's not a legitimate site. Then you only have to worry about that section. But good questions. Any other questions? Remember, you're muted. I see a mouse moving, but I don't.
Oh,
there we go.
Hi, hi, Kenneth. I'm Linda here. I use NordPass. The reason I used it is because, say, for instance, I don't have any relatives, or I don't have a family close by. If I ever forgot my master password, I'm toast. So what this company does is I have a list of codes that I could use to get in. So they emailed me these codes, and so I got to save them in a safe place. So that's one advantage that I like. And I know NordPass, I was thinking of using Nord VPN also. It's a good company. So that's why I went with,
You're that person.
the NordPass. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, and I paid, but hey, security is cheaper than having, than wasting time. So I really like it because I had about 100 passwords. Awful. And I had so many that I used the same one. So I spent all summer trying to figure it out and clean up my stuff. But I'm real happy, and it's nice to just copy and paste. It's great to have a password manager, whichever one you use.
I paid for
Gee.
that. I paid for that spot, so I'll have to send you the check later, Linda. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bob G, who you have next month, recommends using 2 password managers, just in case one goes down. He, of course, uses Avast, which I guess really isn't available anymore, and another password manager. And he very easily imported or exported, however you want to do it, everything from one to the other. And I know when LastPass started charging for some of the things that were free for smartphones, and everybody came unglued about paying $1 more a month for those, a lot of them went right over to Bitwarden. You'd see articles and blogs. I went to Bitwarden, absolutely had no problem. Every field populated perfectly. So you might want to think about, like the suspenders and belt, or external hard drives and cloud backup. Having 2 password managers is kind of the same thing.
Tom?
How well does this work when site asks for a 2-person verification? You have to get your cell phone and get a phone number or something, or an email, whatever.
Oh, what a great question. And it's a loaded one at that. So 2-factor authentication. If they ask for your cell phone number, that's not very good 2-factor authentication. So I'm just going to throw that out there. If that's your only option, okay. But I alluded to this earlier. If you use the same password and your cell phone carrier gets hacked, like mine did 5 times, and they have your information, I can now import your number out somewhere. So if your 2-factor authentication is your cell phone and the thief just stole your cell phone number, well, that's all she wrote. But there's another part to 2-factor authentication. There's authenticators. I use Authy personally. There is an authentication app built into Bitwarden, and you have to pay for the premium, the $10 for the whole year, the premium membership to use it. But I don't like to keep all my eggs in one basket. It's not that I don't trust Bitwarden, but what if I lose access to Bitwarden? Of course, that's forgetting your master password. So I use Authy. Authy has a desktop app for the Mac and PC. They have an iOS, Android app. And I forget the company that bought them, but it's a good company. So Authy. What do you use, Tom?
For what you talk. I'm talking about like Ancestry. You send in the Ancestry, they'll send you a code to your cell phone or to your email, and then you have to input it. So I don't have an Authy or anything like that.
Okay. Well, that's a little different. That's a one-time use code. I misunderstood the question. So some of them will say, we want you to have in 2-factor authentication, a second verification step. Your password's the first one, but then we want a unique code that only you and I know, the website and that. And that's one way to do it, is the one-time code, which really isn't very good, because if somebody it's okay. Somebody has your email, well, they can get your one-time code. But if they don't have your Google Authenticator or your Authy login, they're stuck. That's why I also don't want it in Bitwarden, because if they do happen to get my master password and they log into Bitwarden, well, now they have my authentication code. So it's similar, but a little different. Have you ever looked into Authy or Google Authenticator?
I never heard of it until
Yeah.
you mentioned it right now.
Okay.
Me either.
I've heard one of the groups I was on with, I think last month and the month before, talked about it. And yeah.
So this is it, Authy.com. Great company. I almost had it.
I think you and Craig talked about it.
We probably did.
Yeah.
I'll put this in chat, and I do need to check chat.
And I don't know if you answered the question from Dorothy in chat.
Not yet.
Okay.
Application.
So this is something I should add to my digital asset presentation where I talk about 2FA.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Dorothy, are you still on the call? I lost the screen. I don't know where you guys went.
Dorothy's
Yes.
still here.
Okay, Dorothy, you have a great question here. If I previously had a Starbucks account, I want to add it to Bitwarden and want a new password. What do? I will happily show you because I happen to have a Starbucks account, don't I now? So let's go to
Real one.
Starbucks. We're getting in the weeds a little bit, folks. So bear with me here, okay? So here's Starbucks login, right? I know that I go to Bitwarden and I just click login. And if your computer's gone to sleep, if you've logged out, if you've rebooted, the first thing you'll have to do when you click Bitwarden is type your master password. I'm still logged in, I'm active. It knows I'm still here. So I log in, right? Now, somebody got my password. I need to change it. So you have to figure out where on their website you change your password. So I'm assuming it's one of these two. I'll go to personal info first. Update email and username might be it. Yes, here it is. So I found where to change the password, right? I click the edit button and it says, what's your current password? No problem. I've got that. Click. But it wants to know, it auto-filled it because it knew it was a password. What's your new password? So we gotta be careful here. We've got our current password entered. We did that by I'll do it again. Click, click. It fills it into both fields. I don't want it in this field. I just want it there. Now I need to change it. I go to Bitwarden. I view this button right here. I edit. And then I click this. Regenerate. Oh my goodness. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Yes. Here's new password. It's 25 characters. It has special. So I'm meeting all the needs. It looks good to me, right? Select. Save. Now don't get click happy because remember, we have the old password already filled in. We don't want to write over that. So in this case, I am going to use this copy button right here. I'm not going to autofill. I'm going to copy, password copied, and I'm going to paste, and I'm going to save. Voila. Do I need to do it again?
I don't want 25 characters.
Okay,
Assuming.
let's do it again. Edit. How many characters would you like, Dorothy?
14.
14. So I auto-filled I'll do it quicker this time. It's so easy to change, it doesn't matter. I could do this all day. Edit. Regenerate. Yes, overwrite. I can type in there. 14 it is. Tab out. There's my password. Select. Save. Copy. I know I'm doing it fast. It's just a repeat of what I did. There's your 14 character password. Voila. Done.
So I can do that with all of the passwords in Tom's book.
Yes.
Okay.
And now you don't know what my Starbucks password is. No. Oh, wait, it was on the recording. Yeah, I'll be changing all these accounts after we get off. Good question. Good questions, actually, so far. What else you got? I'm no expert, but I'll try my best.
I just wanted to double check. You said when you log out of Google or Google or shut your computer off, come back on, you have to re-log into Bitwarden.
You do. I
Good.
can actually mimic that for a second. So inside of Bitwarden, I'm going to go, oh, well, where is it? Let me think. I can lock the vault. And, oh, here we go. Log out. Are you sure you want to log out? Yes. So the next time you, and this setting could be changed, by the way, David, if you wanted it to never log out when you close the browser, which I don't recommend, but you can do it. Or maybe you only want it to do on a reboot. All this is very granular. I force the log out, which also forces me to enter my email address. So I do happen, oh no, it didn't. We're good to go. So I just now click Bitwarden, I click login, and then I type in my master password, which I do not remember what it is. Thank God I wrote it down. Enter, enter. So if you get forced to log out, no worries. As long as you wrote down your password or remember it, you just click login and you log in.
Perfect.
Tom?
Right now I'm using Google browser with this, and I have 100 or so passwords in, and down the road, I don't like Google anymore because they've done something wrong, ticked me off, and I want to change it to, I don't know, Dogpile, Bing, you name it, some other browser. Is there one easy way to swap everything over, or do you have to do each one individually?
I'm not sure I understand the question. So the Bitwarden is not tied to a certain browser or a certain.
Bitwarden is tied to browser A, and I'm tired of it, and I want to go to browser B.
Oh, okay. Now I
Is there an
understand.
easy way to do it, or do I have to start from scratch pretty much?
Well, funny
One
you
at a
should
time,
ask.
basically, moving it over.
So it's,
Or
you
can
created-
you use a login Bitwarden to browser ABC at the same
Yes.
time?
Yes. I use Safari, Chrome, Edge, Firefox. I'm sure I'm missing one on there. And all I need to do is download Bitwarden, which it's already downloaded, but just for the sake of completeness, bitwarden.com. This is now Firefox. Download. I've already created the account, right? Browser extension, Firefox. Here's all the browsers they support. So there's 8 of them. If you don't like any of these 8, I don't know what to tell you. Oh yeah, I do. Go to the web vault. That's what you do. So I click Mozilla Firefox. Of course, it's going to say, hey, stupid, you're already installed. Do you want to remove it? No, I'm good. So I click here. I click login. I have to log into the correct one. I think that's the password. Yep. Log in. And now in a whole different window, I've got the logins I just created. So if Google upsets you, dump them. Go with a different browser and Bitwarden will still work.
By just downloading the app for that application for that browser, everything
Yes.
is the same. Okay, got
Yes. You could also use the standalone app if you want to. And again, it's not even tied into the browser. Now there's a good answer. If you have a browser that doesn't have the extension, and a lot of browsers now are based off Chromium, the open source Chromium project, then you could use the application. So that's another good use case for it. You're never stuck. It's just, you might have to do it a little different. Anybody else? I can see you now on the side. So raise your hand or unmute and start talking.
Tom, you're muted.
I think Tom was just yawning.
Oh, you're just yawning? Okay.
Yes.
We're reading it. I thought he was talking Yanish. I have Bitwarden installed on one of my other computers, and I've had to, I think when I did one of your presentations before, I didn't really get a chance to play around with it too much. I'm using Keeper, which I've been using several years now. Yeah.
I like seeing you big, not small. That's why I
Okay.
keep unsharing.
Okie dokie.
So Judy is gone. Is she still here? No.
Yeah, she just
Oh, she's still-
turned her camera off. She's back.
I'm here, but
So
I'm
is this
getting
more?
ready to leave for the Phoenix Computer Society or
Okie dokie.
Prescott Computer Society meeting at 1 o'clock my time.
Well, before you go, quick question. Is this more concise than how I did it the first couple times?
Yeah.
Better, worse?
Well, Tom, I mean, Kenneth, I've seen several of your presentations. Matter of fact, here again, I followed you when I put together my Zoom presentation, and you are definitely one of the better presenters out there.
Well, thank you.
That's
Yes.
because he's a teacher.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that comes with a little, you know.
And I saw you do this last year. I think it was for the Ohio. And I thought this presentation was a lot better because it showed you how to step by step versus this is how it should work in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our third Wednesday workshop. He was only going to do one, and then we conned him into doing two. And
then it was
then
three.
everybody said, hey, we want a demo from the top down. And he demoed installing it on your desktop and then setting it up for on your websites.
And I think those were better.
It actually was, sorry.
Yeah.
JJ.
No.
Yeah, no, it was. But everybody loved it. And he gave the presentation originally at a virtual technology conference, and everybody said, we want more. And with Wednesday workshops, we give more.
Don't be shy. There's no stupid questions. Believe me.
Right?
I
They're
can come up with one if you
clarifying
want.
questions.
I can come up with one if you want.
Okay.
If you decide to just download this as an application to your computer and not as to any of the browsers that's out there, how do you sync up the program to what you're trying to open up as to another site?
So it's a little more work. You would have to type in or copy the URL into the app, and then you'd have to copy and paste back and forth. So that's what I was doing for a long time, was doing it in the app, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy. And I realized how much extra work that was, but it's entirely possible to use it.
And that's strictly, you've got it saved on your hard drive, and that is it.
Well, it does synchronize to the cloud, which, by the way, we're digging into the weeds here. Bitwarden will allow you to locally host it, but here's the thing. It's encrypted with on your computer, it's encrypted with your master password, and it never travels from your computer to Bitwarden unless it's encrypted. So by the time it leaves here, if your computer's compromised, it can't help you. That, you unencrypt on your computer, whoever's on your computer will get it. But when it goes from here to there, it's encrypted. It's gobbledygook. You can't see it. No idea what it is without that master password. That's why it's important to pick a good master password and to pick one that you can remember, because if you have to write it down somewhere, then you got a little bit of security hole. But
I tell people to write it down and hide it 16 places in their house. So then they're not going to remember where those 16 places are, but still. But so the option that I said would be for my member who does not trust the cloud for anything, period.
you can run a local instance of Bitwarden if you want.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it. I don't want to know how to do it, but you can do it.
But this would be for David. So thank you.
All right. Anybody else have any questions?
I just want to confirm, you said this this is encrypted on your computer. The database of all the passwords is actually on your computer encrypted. It's not in the cloud.
The encrypted part of it's in the cloud, but the decrypted part is only available on the computer or smartphone or device that it's unlocked on, not in the cloud.
You know, I am a little leery of using the password manager for my bank accounts. Little scared. I said, maybe I'll just, you know, write it down like the old way. And I'm just a little leery about that stuff. What if
And
the
that's
bank-
okay, Linda. That's okay.
Yeah.
Here's what I would tell you to do
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
case.
Yeah,
So download Bitwarden,
yeah, yeah,
generate a password. Well, actually, you don't even need to do that. Go to bitwarden.com
Yeah. Yeah.
/password-generator. Just generate the password and physically write it down where you feel comfortable. And that's better than what you're doing now, I assume, because you probably picked a password you remember.
yeah. Could you, I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I'll go to Bitwarden, okay, go ahead. And then I
Yep.
have my bank, okay, First American, okay, so how do
So let's show it.
Yeah,
Let me
I
go
wanna,
back,
yeah, okay,
close that.
yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah,
So on bitwarden.com
yeah,
/password-generator, I'm going to put that in chat again.
yeah,
I probably misspelled generator, just did it real quick. Sorry.
yeah, password gen, yeah,
Here,
yeah.
you pick whether you want to, I
Yeah.
would absolutely use a password instead of a passphrase for your bank accounts, but that's me talking.
Well,
Pick
why
password.
why wouldn't the passphrase? I guess it's personal preference, or you don't think
Mm,
you don't know? How, well, no, you're the expert here. I'm not.
well, here's my unexpert review on this. These
Yeah,
are
yeah.
words,
Yeah,
and
words.
even though they're random,
Okay,
they're
the
still
dictionary.
words.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
So yeah, I would use this.
Okay.
I would do it at least 12, at
Yes.
least
Yeah.
12, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then include all this,
Uh-huh.
and you can just copy this, write it down, do
Yeah.
whatever you want, but use this for your bank login.
You mean use that password, you know, I'm not going to be in Bitwarden. What you're saying is you're letting Bitwarden generate a password that I can use.
Yep.
That's what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
To me. Yeah, instead of creating my own. Yeah, I can do that. Okay.
And here's the beautiful part about this, because
Yeah.
of the salting and hashing and all that crap we talked about earlier made no
Yeah,
sense
yeah.
before.
Uh-huh.
It will never repeat this password. So take note.
Right.
That's a
Yeah.
lot of M's, right?
Uh-huh.
Regenerate. Nope. Regenerate. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, never.
Nope.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you don't write it down, well,
Yeah, right. I'll have to, yeah, I can keep it in a sacred place, because I know banks can get hacked too. So yeah, okay, thank you.
yes.
Well, the other thing you could do is after it puts in that password for you, you could add, like we had talked about at the very beginning of the meeting, you could add in a couple of extra characters that aren't part of that generated password. So if your Bitwarden was hacked, it still wouldn't have the full password because you'd have to add those in afterwards. You know, like if my password was whatever and I added DJG at the end, which are my initials, if someone found got into Bitwarden, they wouldn't know, I wouldn't use that, but they wouldn't know what I added at the very end. Does that make
Now,
sense?
that explanation
Yep.
actually sounds intriguing. I don't know if it's more or less secure, but I can see using, like Chase is my bank, using maybe their, what is it called? Their stock ticker name, and maybe putting that in. That way Bitwarden only knows part of the answer. So I kind of like that explanation.
I mean, for something that you're really concerned about, that would be an easy way to do it.
But right now, Linda,
Yeah.
I can see the stress in your face right now.
No, I'm listening.
Just generate a password,
Yeah, I will.
randomly generated.
I
There you
will.
go.
I'll use that. Yeah. And then write it down in a secret spot. No problem. I will. Thank you. Thank you, Kenneth.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'll tell you, this is a real stress reliever because having 100 passwords in your book. Oh, and
Only
then,
100?
One more thing. There's some sites that I can't use and I can't delete, and I still put a password in there because I don't know. I just want everything to be safe. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, JJ. Go ahead.
I just said only 100?
100 something. I lost track already. I have to look. It's like I got so many, and there's
Hi,
lots.
Liz. I saw you waving. Were you taking off or you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you trying to get our attention or were you leaving? Okay. Fred, are you leaving or do you need you need a question?
Why,
No,
JJ?
I'm staying.
Okay.
You have 500
It's a
passwords,
cat,
JJ?
sorry.
Oh,
Hi, Liz. Hi. Yeah. Okay.
Take a picture of it, Linda.
Hi, Dorothy. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, fine. You know, if you have questions on a password manager, even though I have a different one, it's similar. I can help you. Just give me
Okay, appreciate it.
give me a buzz. I'll help.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Ken, you forgot to put your phone number in chat, so when we all try this and something goes wrong, we'll all be calling you.
yeah.
Oh.
Good luck. My phone doesn't ring when I'm at work. We found that out this week. I had a shipper trying to pick up crates or pallets, and they kept calling, and then I'd walk out for lunch and, oh, missed call. Well, that was this morning. So sure, I could probably give it out. You won't be able to reach me. Any other questions?
Thank you for the presentation.
Of course.
Yes, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Kenneth. As I said, you're definitely one of the better presenters out there that I've seen, and one of the reasons I enjoy listening to you all the time and joining you and Craig during the weekdays. Other than that, looking forward to anybody have any questions. You know, you can use our Google groups to answer any questions, and like Liz has got to take off, and I got to go up and cross the border and join Don and Thomas and Dave to the state of Wisconsin, because that's where my better half lives. So, any other questions here again, we can close this meeting and hopefully see you guys next month.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Well,
much.
it's going to be at the library.
Yes, hopefully at the library. We have the
Hopefully
read
at the
reserve.
library.
Oh, be wonderful.
Yes.
I'll believe it when I'm there.
Me too.
Okay. All righty. And hopefully,
Later.
Bye.
hopefully we'll see our president
Thank
next
you.
month. But